Hey everybody, how's it going? I think it's pretty well known by now how big of a fan I am of the Senran Kagura series, if all of the Let's Plays spanning hundreds of episodes didn't give it away already. The Senran Kagura series is pretty good at a lot of things. It's got good graphics, it has fun gameplay, the story that is a lot better than anybody was expecting, honestly, and of course, we have the music. And the music is one particular aspect of the series that I don't really hear a lot of discussion about. Even within the fan base, I don't really hear people talk about the music all that often, but I know a lot of people like it, and myself included, you know? I'm a pretty big fan of the series. I got Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson that comes with the CD with the special edition. I got Senran Kagura Estival Versus, the Endless Summer edition on PS4 that also comes with a bunch of music CDs, and I got Peach Beach Splash, where you open it up. It has the Hiba Rock CDs and all that stuff. So, yes, needless to say, I'm a pretty big fan of the music, and I'm pretty well equipped to talk about it as well, because I actually have the physical CDs, and I've listened to all of them, and, yeah, this isn't even all of it. This isn't even all of the music. There's still other CDs that I've had to track down that are like Japan exclusive, like drama CDs or special remix CDs and stuff like that, stuff that never came out over here in the West. And, you know, I gotta go to Play Asia or Japanese Amazon to track all of these down, right? The soundtrack for the anime, for the 2 anime series, right? So there's a lot of music out there, and most of it is pretty good. But today I wanted to go ahead and just play a little game, just do a fun little tier list. Nothing better than a good old tier list to really get those discussion juices flowing. I can't really in good conscience tell you that all of them are bad, because even the bad ones have like 1 or 2 like really good songs that I would want to have on a 10-hour loop, you know? I wouldn't really say that any of them are terrible in any way, so I just feel bad having the lowest rank be like, oh, awful, you know? Just not the best, it's kind of alright, right? And then there's good, and then pretty good, and then it's a bop to it slaps butt cheeks. I don't know what the terms of service are for tier maker. I felt weird saying the word butt cheeks, so I just said it slaps, but you can add whatever body part you want to slap in your mind as you listen to this music. Might be slapping thighs, or slapping arms, or butts, or maybe this, when you realize my decisions for the tier list and go, how could you be so stupid? Why'd you put this one so low? But, we'll get to that when we get there. But right now, I have a YouTube playlist. I don't know if you guys can see it here in my browser, but I have like a ton of YouTube links for bookmarks for all of the different soundtracks, for all of the different games. Obviously, I own pretty much all of them through all of the, you know, all of the CDs that I just showed you. But there's no like visual aid or anything. It's literally just like the MP3 files, and I just be, you know, sitting here listening to the music. It's probably better to just run it through YouTube videos, and you can have like a nice little picture there, and we can pause and talk about it and stuff. We're gonna start where everything started on the 3DS game, Senran Kagura Burst. Technically Skirting Shadows, but Burst is just an expanded version of Skirting Shadows that includes all of the, you know, Hebijo theme songs and all that stuff. And of course, if we're gonna talk about Senran Kagura Burst over here, then we're gonna have to talk about Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, which is the remake of the 3DS game, and basically everything is identical soundtrack wise. There's like 1 or 2 songs in there that are new, but nothing too major. So whatever decision I make for one game, I'm probably gonna make for the other. Okay, don't know why there's a Yumi picture on this one. This is gonna be like a Senran Kagura listening party. We should probably do that. Dun, 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 dun. So this is one so this one is a basic going through a level. I think this is like the very first level in Senran Kagura, like a training mode or something like that. This is just basic introductory, like welcome to Senran Kagura kind of song. Ooh, and then here comes the guitar solo again, right? It always has to devolve to a guitar solo. Ah, I love this part, you know, like the drums are pretty good. Boom, like it just the drums are what make it feel really dramatic, right? Like you're fighting like a big boss or something. And then I love this how do you call it? This like backing track of just like traditional Japanese instruments, right? You know, with that tube that they're hitting, and then with that guitar solo mixed in there is just a beautiful blend of stuff. Just hear this. You know? This is really good. Yeah, and they always gotta leave it to the guitar solo to kind of loop back around to the beginning. Okay, now this, I think, is Ikaraga's post-transformation theme song. So in Burst, they did something interesting, where they had a pre-transformation theme song and a post-transformation theme song. They never really did this for any other game. This is the only one. Probably because there were only 10 characters. So, you know, they had the time to do that, you know, to give those characters that kind of treatment. Obviously, later on in the series, where they had like 30, 40, 50 characters, then they all got one theme song, right? Instead of 2 for each one. That would have been a lot of music. Let's hear it. Yeah, so, like, it begins with, like, kind of an intimidating kind of intro. It was like, dun, 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 dun. Kind of like that. Yeah. And again, bring, bring. Got the Japanese instruments in there. And of course, this is for Ikaraga, right? Very prim and proper student class president, very dignified. You got that electric guitar in there. Yeah, I love the melodies that are built. Ram, ba-dum, bam, bam, ba. All of this stuff that you don't really notice until you're actually like sitting down and listening to it, right? I like Katsuragi songs because a lot of them have this like roughness to it, but then there's also these kind of more gentle sort of instruments that come in, like a biwa or a flute or something like that kind of show the more female side of her, the more like heart of gold kind of side of her, because she's really tough, but she cares deeply for other people, and she can get really emotional sometimes, and so that's sort of that part of her sort of shining through. And I just get like, I don't know, like Karate Kid vibes out of it, you know? Somebody training to be the best. Anxious blood, you know? That's exactly Katsuragi right there. Just wanting to fight strong people all the time. Yeah. I love it. And of course, it can't be Senran Kagura without comedy all the time, right? So, of course, depending on what character it is, if it's like Hibari or Minori or something like that, you always gotta have those sillier, plinky-plonky kind of songs, right? Something that's a bit more lighthearted and not as dramatic as all the other songs. But this one, like, yay! Right? Let's go! Here you go. It's like a funny song, you know? Dun, 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 dun. You know, it sounds like the theme song of a bumbling idiot, like Hibari, right? Bum, 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 bum. They keep that consistent throughout. Yagyu's theme songs. Oh my god. You know, you guys all know that Yagyu is like one of my least favorite characters in the series, but when it comes to her theme songs, credit where credit is due, Yagyu seems to always have the best theme song out of everyone in the whole game. Yeah. If Katsuragi's theme song is a training montage, Yagyu's theme song is like when you're actually in the boxing ring ready to fight, you know? Kind of an 80s vibe, you know? Ah, the song is amazing. Believe in Yourself is what the song is called. And it has that synth in there. Yeah, and it hears the melodious, you know? Melodious, but still intense, right? Da-da-da. I love that there's that intense Shinobi side, but then there's that soft feminine side to every single one of these songs, right? Oh, and then when it gets to the chorus. Ah, it's so good. What I do like about the Senran Kagura soundtracks is that every character kind of has their own style, right? And that's consistent through all of the Senran Kagura games, where they all still maintain a similar style, and they don't necessarily, like, they don't necessarily change in a way where you wouldn't recognize it. Like, you know what a Katsuragi song sounds like, you know what a Yagyu song sounds like, you definitely know what all of the Hebijo songs sound like, right? With Haruka's theme song, Mirai's theme song. Mirai always has this, like, gothic kind of feel to it. Haruka's always got to have, like, Spanish guitar, and, you know, got to have this, yeah, the little accordion sound. And the guitar is a lot more like jazzy, you know? Bum, bum. Yeah, very simple. It's not really busy with too much stuff. Yeah, Frenzied Soul. Here we go. Better. Yeah. Absolutely. If there's any song that might rival Yagyu's one, is probably Hikage's theme song. The chorus here is really great. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of funkiness kind of dipped in here once in a while. And then the drop here. Yeah. Yeah, this is really great. Let's show the Burning Fury version of the song so that you guys can actually hear the difference when I mean that is like a corrupted version of that song. Yeah, so that initial thing kind of just trails off. Ton of reverb. It just goes off into different directions. Like Doom, you know? Like Doom Eternal. Yeah, so in concept it's the same song, right? But it's just like a berserk version of it. Kage's mad. Which is funny because she has no emotions. Well, needless to say, the soundtrack for Burst and Burst Renewal are pretty great. However, when you compare it to the other soundtracks that are upcoming, I would say it still gets better from here. Considering it's the first soundtrack and it's already pretty impressive, it's even more impressive that they kind of, they up their game from here on out. So, I like it a lot. And not quite S tier, but it's a bop for sure. And I'm including both Burst in here and Burst Renewal. They got some fantastic songs, especially the remixes for like the Hebijo themes and stuff where they're all Orochi-fied and stuff. Yeah, really, really awesome. And they added a couple of, Gessen and new Hebijo songs in there. But I love the character themes. I think all of them perfectly embody who they are as characters. I like that this kind of sets the tone for all of the future songs that are coming out. I like that there's 2 songs for every character, a pre-transformation and post-transformation. And one of those soundtracks that are really worth analyzing, that are worth sitting down and just listening to it and giving it your full attention, because the more I go back and I listen to the songs, the more I find interesting things about them that are like, oh yeah, this is like a Katsuragi kind of thing. Or yeah, because this is the villain thing, and of course, here's this melody that I didn't recognize before, right? When you're playing the game in the heat of the moment, you're not paying full attention to the music. But when you are, you start to, uncover all of these layers about it that just makes it so much better. So to stay consistent with the story and the timeline, right now we're in Hanzo versus Hebijo, where there's only 10 characters, 2 factions fighting against each other. And there's a recreation of that story in the game through the anime, Senran Kagura Ninja Flash. I'm not the biggest fan of the anime, but I do like the soundtrack now that I've sat down and listened to it for this video. Unfortunately, because of copyright issues and because this is from the anime and stuff, chances are I might not be able to show you any music from this. But based on this upload that uploaded the entire soundtrack all in one video, the content ID only seems to be for 2 songs, for like the main theme for the anime, and then this other song, which might be the ending song. There's a bunch of really nice songs in here. A lot of these do sound kind of generic. They're well made, but generic, because again, it's like a ninja anime, so it has to be like traditional Japanese sounding songs. And they don't sound as distinguished as the Burst soundtrack, but we'll get to it. This is like hanging out on the camp in Final Fantasy 15 or something. So there's the initial one. There's the opening song, which is pretty good in my opinion. So this is the opener. So this one is very like action-y. I'm pretty sure this is the song that they open with in the first episode. Yeah. See like the trumpet, like that trumpet and stuff. It's just weird. This is a weird soundtrack for Senran Kagura. Again, it's a completely different feel, right, from the game. You see, like, with that instrument, this sounds more like Ikitosen, right? Like they got the Ikitosen guys to do the music for Senran Kagura, right? Yeah. Yeah, it almost sounds Chinese, right? Like, it sounds like Ikitosen or like Koehime Embu or something like that, right? Da, da, da. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun song to listen to, especially when they break it down there towards the middle. How about this one? Shugyo? Training? And you have to remember, this is an anime, right? So obviously there's like pacing and lighter moments and funnier moments and suspenseful moments. So there's obviously going to be a lot of variety in that sense. So softer, little emotional moments. It's nice. But again, like, it just sounds like an anime. I feel like Senran Kagura kind of loses a little bit of its identity with this soundtrack. It's good, like, well, what I listen to, it's good, but it's not, like, it doesn't feel like Senran Kagura, right? It feels like they were trying to turn it into Ikitosen. Yeah. Typical emotional moment with the music box, right? And this is the theme song for, I think, the ending theme. Yeah, this is the melody for the ending song, like da 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 da. That's probably like this other song that also got content ID. So yeah, ending song and opening. Everything in between is probably okay, but you know, just trying to stay safe. But yeah, this is supposed to be like a softer, more emotional version of that ending song. This is nice. I always like it when they iterate on. It's nice. I like it. It just doesn't feel like Senran Kagura, you know? It feels like an anime about ninjas, but I don't really get the same, you know, the same feeling that I get. You know how, like, in Burst, I was, like, gushing about, like, oh my god, like, this instrument is so Katsuragi, right? Or, like, with Ikariga, right? She's a commanding presence, so the music is like, dun 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 dun, you know, here comes the student class president to boss people around, right? Or, you know, you hear all the Gessen songs, and the Gessen songs have, like, classical composer stuff on it, right? Like, I can't extrapolate all of that stuff from the Ninja Flash anime because it's scored like a generic anime about ninjas, right? And it doesn't really factor in the characters. And believe it or not, it doesn't matter how fanservice-y it is, that's a pretty important part of storytelling. Even if it is a niche fanservice-y thing, right? So I like it. It's good. But it's not Senran Kagura good. It doesn't have that uniqueness, that spice, you know, that really makes Senran Kagura so deep music-wise, and that makes you want to replay it multiple times to kind of, like, pick at it and see all of these things, right? Like, the storytelling through the music is not really there, other than some really cool melodies and some very well-made music, but then, like, they just iterate on the main theme songs and stuff. It's fun. It's not bad by any means, but, it just doesn't have that identity that Burst kind of set from that point forward. Here we go. Shinovi Versus exists, so that one goes immediately onto It Slaps. and let me show you why. It has that guitar solo-y kind of sound. This one's more epic, bigger scale. I mean, it really does sound introductory, right? Like, here we go. And this one really, like, it starts very simple and almost generic, but it kind of builds up to more and more over time, right? Da-dun-dun-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Great melodies and everybody sings. And the ending is great. Yeah. Great setup for action. Great. And it just maintains that consistent sound throughout. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect for setting up, you know? It's a great introductory song. It definitely sets the tone. And because you have the Guessing Girls in here now, it's a whole different faction, a whole different philosophy, a whole different way of being. And so I like that the soundtrack is a lot more higher up in scale, more epic sounding, and a lot more, like, refined, right? Here's Yozakura's theme song. This one sounds like, you know, even like more foreboding, right? They're supposed to be good shinobi, so why does it sound like I'm facing off against the villain, right? So this is my favorite part about all of these soundtracks, is that a lot of these, well, not a lot of these, the Guessing Girls specifically have this theming around like winter and the four seasons, and having their songs be related to classical composers. My favorite one out of all of these is Shiki's one. She has a really, really great one. So incredibly hype. And again, right, it's storytelling through the music, because these are Guessing Girls, right? They're these like super extremist justice kind of girls, right? They eliminate anything that's evil, regardless of what it is. Even if it's somebody that's supposed to be on your side, if they show any signs of evil, you eliminate them, right? And so they go so far into the deep end of justice that they end up becoming bad guys in the process, in a way. And so, like, why does it sound like this justice person, this good shinobi, when their theme song comes in, it sounds like you're about to fight this, like, monster, right? Like, right? Like Dracula just showed up, right? Whoa. Yeah. And then the action, right? And this is Shiki, right? The girl is supposed to be like, oh, for sure, right? Like Valley Girl, oh my god, you know? Like a Gyaru kind of girl. Ba-da-da-da-da. Yes! This is all the composer. And then classical, right here. Pum. I love it. And I think this is like the winter part of Four Seasons from who's this guy, Tchaikovsky? I forget the composer. But yeah, it just fits perfectly. And then transitioning on to like the modern composer that just has like his super guitar solo heavy kind of stuff. You see? The same instruments from Burst, right? It's the same sound, but different melody, different purpose, different message, right? And this one has, like, more to it, right? It just sounds so much more serious. Here it comes. Setup. Here we go. Bum, ba-da-da. Bum, bum. Yes. Yeah. Ra-ta-ta-ra-ta-ta-ta. That's like such like a hero theme, right? Like the main protagonist, you know, beating up somebody, and then they repeat it with slight changes. Ran-ta-ra-ra-pa-pa. Ba-ra-pa-ra-pa-pa-pa. I love how it hits it again, right? It da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, again, for the people in the back. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, it's so good. Ribbon of Sorrow, Senran Kagura Shinovi Versus. This is Yagyu's theme song, and as I said, Yagyu has the best theme songs in all of the games, period. And I think not only is Yagyu's theme song the best song in all of Shinovi Versus, but I think in the entire series, I would say. Because it is so emblematic of the feel of Senran Kagura, the atmosphere, the theming, the instruments, just everything. You know, if you want one song that fully represents the entire series, I would say it's probably this one. It just has everything that I could ever want out of a Senran Kagura song, and it's just so memorable and great. It's more of an action-y kind of scene, but yeah. This one I might just play in full because it's just that good. Then you got that keyboard. It's so good. This is Yagyu we're talking about here. My least favorite character is the best song in the whole series. You know, and you can see the structure, right? That the basic structure that all of the other songs kind of follow, right? At least all the theme songs. And the guitar solo just kills it in the latter part of the song. An incredible guitar solo here. Oh boy. It just doesn't stop. So good. And then the keyboard. It's so good. And it's just like one thing, right? The guitar solo just going, but like he just keeps going and going and going. It just doesn't stop. It's like the music equivalent of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? When Jotaro goes like ora 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 ora, or like in part 5, right? When Jotaro goes muda 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 muda, but it just keeps going and going and going and going and going for like 7 pages of the manga, right? It's one of those where like, oh my god, it just gets more hype the longer it goes, right? Right? Like it starts what? Yeah, it's building up to it, and then it just goes. And then, yeah. And then lets the keyboard do its thing. Sounds all funky. God, and even and even when it ends and the keyboard keeps going, in the back of it, you can kind of still hear the guitar going bram ba-da-dum ba-da-da-da-da, like just kind of like this long like tail end to the guitar solo. Like even when it's done, it's still not done, right? Listen closely, right? You think it's over when the keyboard comes in, but you can still kind of hear him still like popping off. Yeah, it just doesn't want to stop, and it's great. And then here it just loops back around to the start. Yeah, best song in the whole series, bar none. Shinovi Versus, it slaps. It slaps both my butt cheeks. And now going from something that's really, really good, let's go for something that's not as good, at least not in my opinion. This one is kind of mixed. I know some people that really, really like the soundtrack, and some people that don't. I'm one of those people that really don't. There's one or two, no, actually no, there's 4 songs specifically that are really, really good in this soundtrack, but there's like 30 other songs that are not, right? So it's just a game of numbers right there. There are more bad songs than good songs. And I just can't in good conscience put it anywhere like above pretty good. And like I don't like it better or as much as the Ninja Flash soundtrack. And that one, commits the awful sin of just not really following with the identity of Senran Kagura, right? And this one is full on Senran Kagura, but it just takes a really, like, you know how Hibari's and Minori songs are always really silly and comedic? Well, imagine if every single song was like that, right? And so it kind of gives you something that's kind of disappointing, except for the leaders, like Asuka, Yumi, Homura, Miyabi. Actually, no, you can probably get rid of maybe actually, no. 5 songs. 5 songs are good, right? The 4 leaders and I guess Daidoji's song, those are pretty good. But like all of the other ones are just kind of Catch a Tigress by the Toe from the Bon Appetit soundtrack. That was great. This is such a fun song. This needs a banjo cover. Dore ni shiyou kana. Yeah, this one is just cool. Da-da-da-da-da-dun-dun. I don't know. So again, they have their theming, right? Like you can definitely hear some songs and be like, yeah, this is a Hibari song, right? But it's just not as cool, as from the action games. Yeah. And so I think this one sounds very similar to her Burst song or whatever. It's just very whatever. I think Yozakura's song in Bon Appetit is probably the worst song in the whole game. This is definitely the one that I dislike the most. You guys like, this is Yozakura? That's stupid. This kind of sounds like the song that you would hear in a fan service anime where like, it's like a harem anime, right? Like one guy and like 10 girls, and then the guy like trips and like lands his face on a girl's butt. And it's like, oh, what are you doing? And like a little like comedy moment kind of happens and they're chasing each other around and stuff. And this is what you hear, right? Like in a visual novel or like in an anime. Like these crappy little trumpets. It just sounds awful. Again. And this doesn't speak Yozakura to me, right? Do you remember the song that we heard in Shinovi Versus that sounded like I was about to like fight against the final boss and is Yozakura? Like, no, and this sounds like, oh no, you know, I landed on a girl's boobs. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble, you know? Yeah. No. Shiki? Yeah, I love it. It fits Shiki's personality so much. Yeah, because that other super like dramatic, foreboding kind of theme didn't fit. No, but this one. Chopin. Mendelssohn. So again, just like in Shinovi Versus, a lot of these songs are kind of, you know, they have some bits from classical composers still integrated in here. Which is cool, but like, again, it just doesn't sound as good. You see, this one isn't half bad, you know? Gran Turismo vibes. This song's like sax in its purest form. It does kinda. Your favorite song in the series, eh? I just realized. You see, this one isn't bad. Because this just sounds like a rock band just kind of vibing a little bit. And there's a part towards the middle that does sound actually pretty cool. Like this. They introduce a whole other instrument here. Yeah, I mean, this song is cool. I mean, there are some exceptions, but for the most part, not all of these songs are like this. Now, the really good ones are pretty much all of the ones that have voices, right? The ones done by Asuka, Yumi, Homura, Miyabi, and then Daidoji I would include in there. So this one is Furumaki Ninja. So this one is also really silly. It fits very much in tone with the comedy tone of this game. But because she sings and all of the lyrics are about making the biggest, fattest Furumaki roll or whatever, it's just cute, you know, and obviously, you know, is in line with the running joke with Asuka and the big Futomaki rolls and stuff, you know? And this one also has like a really big, like, Japanesey kind of style to it. Yeah. The lyrics are literally, I love big and fat, I love big and thick Futomaki, you know? Like, I like it big and thick. That is supposed to be like an innuendo, but also kind of like a joke. Yeah. Daisuki na futo dekai. Yeah, I love it. Fat and big. I want to eat futomaki. You know, literally the whole thing is about wanting to eat, you know, big and fat futomaki rolls, which, you know, you could, you know, say that it's something else. Wait, Asuka for Smash Ultimate? Yeah, the vocals by Hitomi Harada are very good. It just makes the song really fun to listen to. And then you got Yumi, Pretty Prisoner. So this one is a bit more melodic. This one almost sounds like an Idol song, you know? Yumi Hara, I think she voices an Idolmaster character, and this feels like an Idolmaster song, you know? So lit. Gooned out. Yeah, it just sounds like it sounds like a teenage girl going to high school or something. Like it's a nice sunny day or whatever. Again, like the opening to an anime or something, like a lighthearted slice of life high school anime or something. Pretty Prisoner. I do like this. And the little thing at the bottom, pa 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 pa, that sounds very dating sim. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. It's catchy. Break out of your shell with Homura. It's so great. Dun, 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 dun. It's just awesome. The song slaps so hard. Here we go. Let's go! Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing song. The only song that might be better is Miyavi's song, Machiavellism of Despair. That one's so good. Yeah, Estival Versus boss music? Yeah. Easily the best track in this game. Abso-fucking-lutely. Ah. It just sounds like you're going to war or something. Try hitting all perfect on normal. Try hitting doing that on hard. And her voice and everything. And then here, the vocals. Oh, Wario. Yeah. And it just gets better and better as the song goes along. Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. Yeah, and then Path of the Raging Demon, I think this is Daidoji's song. Yeah. There's a pretty long, at least in the game. 345, yeah. Yeah, she has a really powerful voice that Doji does. This sounds like it could be in like Fist of the North Star or something. Yeah, the hardest song in the game, yeah. I like how they put a small melody of Senran Kagura burst OST in there. You see, when they're good, they're good. It has some really great music, Bon Appetit does, but like, the vast majority of it is very much not. So, with the exception of those 6 songs, the other 20-something songs just totally dropped the ball in my opinion. And then we got Estival Versus. Now, Estival Versus also does a pretty good job of making good music, although instead of having great music on the Hanzo and Hebijo side, it's the opposite now. Now it's on the Gessen and new Hebijo side. Because now at this point they're home at a Crimson Squad, the ex-Heavy Joe ones. But yeah, there's a lot of tracks in here. Most of them are very, very good. Again, talking about the freaking character themes and stuff. I think for this, the disc 1, I think is mostly just levels. One of my favorite melodies. Yeah, it's awesome. Yozakura's a little underrated. The songs, I'd say so, yeah. A little Christmassy vibe, yeah. Marley Fair. I love this melody. They're coming up. Yeah. And again, this is the classical composer thing. Yeah, Manuel de Fala, Ritual Fire Dance. Even though it has like ice stuff mixed in there too. You got Yumi's One Grandfather's Wish. This one is pretty identical to the Shinovi Versus one. This one didn't really change all that much. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Welcome to Blaze Blue Cross Tech Battle. Ba-da-da-da. Yeah, oh, lacrimosa. Yeah. An arrangement of Lacrimosa from Mozart. Yeah. And again, the Katsuragi's theme song, it has a very, very similar vibe. It sounds almost identical to the Shinovi Versus one. Very similar style. Yeah, so very much like dun dun da da dun. That was one from last time, and here's like this different thing. Dun dun dun. Yeah, they're just iterating on the last one. Again, very similar sound. Like, this is what I'm saying. You know when a Katsuragi song shows up, right? Because you just know the structure by this point. Which means, Yagyu. Actually, not the best song. This is not actually one of my favorites, but it does fit the style of Shinovi Versus. The Shinovi Versus one is just so sick. And this one also has some sick-ass stuff right here, too, right? But it just doesn't compare to, like, the absolute glow-up that, you know, the new Heavy Joe girls and the Guessing Girls get for their song. There's no such thing as bad music in Senran Kagura. Yeah, that's pretty much true, except for Bon Appetit, I would say. Yeah, it just sounds like Yagyu. Oh, Riona's song is so good. And don't even get me started, Crimson Squad. Crimson Squad is just orgasmically good. There's two... No, pretty much all of these, like Homura's, Yomi Shikage's, yeah, all of those are great. But Riona's one is also really good. Make sure it absolutely hurts. The theme is hardcore, yeah. Yes, Sprouts, Me, and Seafood, absolute banger of a song. It's an incredible song. I love it. This is one of those where you just leave it on forever. The 4-note tempo is still intact, just like all of her themes. Yeah, and then with the same instruments and stuff. And this theme really fits super well to Estival Versus, where they're like in this beach resort and stuff. So this feels really beach, really vacation, energetic kind of sound, right? And it gets so much better from here on out. This chorus is amazing. The drop. Yeah, it's so good, man. It's incredible. Yes! That little bit, that just sealed. That's the little ribbon on a nicely wrapped present right there. Wonderful. This song is absolute perfection. I love it. It's so Senran Kagura style, but it's new and it is the same tempo. Again, right? Like you know what character it is just by hearing the music, right? And this one absolutely rips my nuts off, man. Hikage's theme song from Estival Versus, starting to sense my own mind and self. Orgasmically good song. Baddest scene for a badass girl, yeah. Best girl in the whole series, I agree. Best themes in each entry, I'd say that's Yagyu, but yeah. Yes. Again, sounds like training montage, right? Sounds like I'm ready to box somebody. This is another one where you gotta wait on the guitar solo, man, because then it just gets amazing from that point. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Here we go. Yes, the guitar just goes crazy here. It's so good. And it just screams Hikage, right? Reminds me a lot of the Burst song. Again, another song where like the last little ditty at the end of the solo really, really seals the deal for me. Really, really great. I love everybody just loving it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fantastic soundtrack. It absolutely deserves to be on S tier for me. Both Shinovi Versus and Estival Versus, both Versus games are great. Now here's another soundtrack that might end up making it onto the S tier as well. I definitely like it. I think it's more than a bop, and it absolutely slaps. I'm gonna put it right here already. I'm just gonna go ahead and prove to you why it's so good. And then we got Asuka's theme song, which is great. Great Asuka theme song. Usually because she's the main character, it kind of runs the risk of sounding a little generic, but this one actually has a lot of spark to it, a lot of personality. It has that classy Japanese kind of sound to it, but also has the rock in there as always. But this feels a lot more developed, right? It has the character in mind, I would say. It just goes crazy towards the end. I think here we go. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Yes. It takes that da 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 da, but it just uses that as like a little bridge to loop it back to the beginning. Da 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 ba ba bow wow, right? Yeah. It just has that edge that the previous Asuka theme songs didn't have before, right? And then you have Ikaraga's theme song, very commanding again. If you remember the one that we heard it from Burst, right? Or which one was it? I forget, but dun 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 dun, right? To be the wielder of Hien, commanding presence, student council president. Dun, 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 dun. And so Murasame has a very similar theme song, but it has a little twist that kind of makes that version better than this one. Katsuragi theme song. So again, you know, you can kind of recognize all of the sounds involved in there. Really great. A fucking masterpiece, this guy says. The magnum opus of all the previous Katsuragi themes. I would say it sounds good. I still prefer the Shinovi Versus one, but this one is a bit more melodic, right? This one sounds a bit... It sounds a bit more emotional, I guess. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Ah! She has the best theme songs ever. Again, really intense, right? There's that sound that always comes in with the melody. As a verse, I guess. Very much in line with her. And then that guitar solo at the end. Oh! There we go. And it changes tempo a little bit. Bam, bam. So great. And so now this one, it's really ironic. One of my favorite theme songs for Deep Crimson is the Hibari theme, because it just sounds so actiony on top of sounding silly. You know, it's not an annoying song, but it's a silly song, a good silly song. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, you see, I like this theme out of all of the Hibari themes, yeah. Da 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 da. Dun 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 da 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 da. Yeah, it's still silly, it's still Hibari, but like she's kind of finding herself, right? She's her own person now. She's not trying to find a way to be needed, you know? She's doing her own thing. She's developing her own little identity here. But she's still that, like, bumbling idiot. And then the main theme again. Yeah. I love the little, like, call and response there with, you know, the main theme song, dun 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 dun, and then the electric guitar, it just amazing, amazingly well done music. Yes, Homura song is so good. Now how about Yomi? Yeah, this is Yomi. Best theme hands down. I transform as Yomi just to hear this, yeah. Moyashi, MYS, yeah, Moyashi, bean sprouts. Again, the same instrument for the melody. It has that 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Dun, 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 dun. It has that super strict tempo. I do have disc 2 of Deep Crimson, which has all of the, like, the stages, all of the music from the stages and the dialogue scenes and stuff like that. One in particular that I like a lot is this one, the bullet train one. When, the Crimson Squad girls are training on the train. Yeah, this one is so good. Train on a train. SK Vibes mixed with Persona. Literally the best song in this game. Shame that they only play it once. Yeah, it only shows up one time. But it's such a good song. It's so funky. How about this one, the Blood Chamber? This one is also really good. I like this one as well. This one is just from a level. Memories of 209. Get an A rank was a pain in the butt. Yeah, that little right there, like kind of in the background of that. What's this one? Fighting Gold, but Coda likes Senran Kagura 2. Is it just the Senran Kagura 2 theme song, but with the lyrics to Fighting Gold? Oh wow! Oh wow, that fits strangely good. That is way too perfect. Wow. Wow. Wow, it's impressive how perfect it is. Wait, what about the chorus though? What about the chorus? Oh. Yeah, this actually made me cry. This is just Fighting Gold. Wow, far before Fighting Gold was a thing. Oh, I love this animation of Asuka like doing the thing. This, the flip, way. Yeah, that flip is amazing. That soundtrack is fire. I love it. Okay, so now the rest of these are going to be significantly faster for me to put on the tier list because some of these I am not able to even show the music for. For example, New Link, which is the free-to-play mobile game, Senran Kagura New Link, it does have music, but it doesn't really have a lot that's like super original. I find that a lot of the songs that are in it are songs that already existed from other games, and then what's original are like really short little loops that I've heard a million times over, and then the menu music and stuff. It's very simple, and, you know, it's obviously not as elaborate and well put together as from the action games. I like it okay. I mean, it has some pretty cool themes. Let's see, I think I had a playlist in here somewhere for New Link. No, actually, the only thing that I could find was the boss theme. I know that if you go to the Senran International Academy Discord, they have updates for like everything new that gets added into the game, and sometimes they like to upload like .ogg files of the songs that are uploaded. But a lot of them are just kind of whatever. They're not as like fantastic as, you know, any of the other soundtracks. But hey, we got this one as an example, you know, the boss theme for New Link. And so this is the kind of song that you're gonna hear 10 million billion times when playing this game, just grinding in New Link. And so it does have some cool parts in it, for sure, you know? It's not a bad song by any means. But it's a boss theme, right? It's not really signaling any particular character or anything, it's just a hype, you know, theme. It's very much in the style of Senran Kagura, you know, so it's probably made by the same people. I just wish they put out like a CD or something of all the New Link songs. But I guess the only way to get it is if you just rip it off in the game. Yeah, and it just loops back around. I mean, it's all right. I wouldn't say that it's bad. Like I haven't heard a bad New Link song at all. It's just kind of generic because it's like a mobile game and it's not as, you know, the soundtrack is not as pointed as it is in the other ones, right? So I would say it's good, you know. Okay, so with that, we have all of the mainline games on there, and we got the mobile game in there, one anime adaptation, one spinoff. We got a whole bunch of other spinoffs in here, and the soundtrack to the Shinovi Masters anime. That's the second anime that they have. So there's a ton of tracks for the OST for the anime. And I went ahead and I listened to a little bit of it. So this one, absolutely, I went to every single one of these YouTube videos, and all of them had like copyright claims on them and everything. So I'm not going to be able to show you a single one of these. But these are all really short, so I am going to take a minute to listen to some of these right now, and I'll tell you where I'll put them on the tier list. Yeah, I have to admit it. I am not a big fan of the Shinobi Masters anime at all. There's like 2 episodes that I like from that anime, but the music, man, it's been years since I last saw the anime, but I went back and I revisited that soundtrack, and I am shocked at how incredibly good it is. It kind of has the same problem that the Ninja Flash anime music has, in that it's good, well-made music, but it just doesn't have that Senran Kagura identity to it, that Senran Kagura edge, those same songs, those themes, that storytelling through the music and stuff. It's beautiful music, very beautiful. A lot of it is like orchestrated stuff with violins and pianos and stuff like that. It almost sounds like Nier Automata as opposed to Senran Kagura, right? And that's the only reason for why I don't really have it on the S tier. It's great music. It's absolutely great music. Fubuki's theme song, Yumi's theme song. There's a lot of really, really sad music in this soundtrack, and a lot of the silly plinky plunky kind of fan servicey music that you hear throughout. That's mostly saved for the very, very end. And yeah, there are some like more generic anime kind of songs towards the end, specifically like the opening theme song and the ending theme song and stuff like that. It's all of the background music kind of in the middle that's absolutely, like, I got emotional, and so some of them left me a little watery eyed. It was that good. It was really, really great music. But again, it just doesn't have that Senran Kagura kind of spice to it, right? It doesn't sound like a Senran Kagura soundtrack. It sounds like they were making an anime for something else and they put it on the Senran Kagura anime, right? And so that's the only thing that's kind of keeping it on the, it slaps kind of category, but it's a bop. It's a sad, tear-jerking kind of bop. It's surprisingly fantastic. I thought I was gonna, use this as an opportunity to kind of crap on the anime again, but no. It's a great soundtrack. It's on YouTube, by the way, all of it. So go and listen to it. It's great. We got more spin-offs though, and we can certainly go and look at that at a playlist. Let's start with Senran Kagura Reflections. That's the Nintendo Switch game with like the grabby stuff, very dating sim kind of style, very simple. Really isn't a whole lot to it, and as you can tell, the soundtrack isn't a whole lot to laud for. You have this, which is kind of like the opener, kind of the opening kind of song. Oh, look, they're recommending me on YouTube, the DLC themes for the DLC characters in Estival Versus. Another reason for why it's S tier is that all of the, the themes for the DLC characters are incredible, like the Ikutozen characters. Yeah, but that's gonna have to be a story for another day. Those are amazing. But for Reflections, there's a lot of this, nice little emotional kind of thing, kind of romantic-y kind of sounds. Very simple. You're not gonna hear some big action score here. This is kind of it, So probably my favorite song in the entire thing is this. It's a remix of the, I think, Classmate, You're My Classmate or something like that. It's a song from Senran Kagura Burst, I'm pretty sure. And they remix it to sound all nice and cool. I like it. I feel like they should remix more of those older songs. Ba ba da ba, ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da, ba da da da. Yeah. I really love how that song is put together. And a lot of this is like just the dialogue scenes, that kind of music that you hear in like the costume mode and stuff, during just little dating sim scenes and stuff. And this is the song that you hear in the credits after you're done playing the same thing over and over again for like 2 hours. I think aside from the remix that you hear for Classmates, this one I like a lot too. I think this is the song that you hear in like the photo mode and when you're dressing the girls up and stuff. It just has a really nice bossa nova kind of feel to it. Like you want to go to a cafe and drink some coffee out in France or something. If you put a low pass filter on it, it'll sound like an advertisement from the 1950s or like supermarket music. This song I like a lot. I really, really like this song from from Reflections, because this is the song where you're like when you're talking to each other at the start of the game and like you like touch hands and stuff. September 8th, 2021. So this was uploaded pretty recently, like a month ago. Shinovi Records. Somebody out there still cares about old Senran. Really? Your entire Senran Kagura, all endings. But why do you have a car here? Yeah, I really like this song. Your entire channel is just the Reflections soundtrack. Yeah, it almost makes you like feel a certain way. All endings. List of songs and games where they originate from. Neutral ending, bad ending, glorious ending. What? The girls continue studying training to become Kagura. Jin is defeated, but there's much work to be done. Is this just like fan fiction? This guy's just making up endings? They're strong enough to defeat Shin. Everyone becomes Kagura. The sad ending, Homa to sacrifice herself. Asuka inherits and Asuka can beat Shin. Nah, that's stupid. Yeah, it's just fan fiction-y bullshit. The only possible ending, Yumi beats Shin alone and becomes the strongest shinobi ever. Sure, all about Yumi, huh? Strongest friends forever, the impossible ending. The apocalypse ending, only Kagura and Naruto survive Shin and they travel to a new timeline. That's... nah. True ending, Shin just wanted friends all along. Ugh. Tragic ending, being a shinobi is too much to bear. Oh gosh. So much fanfiction. All of it has to be so sad, huh? But yeah, I really like this song. That was when Gate to Wonders, is this? Oh no, yeah. We heard this one. Yeah, I feel like I'm playing Koakatsu or something. Yeah, but Reflections, I mean, has a couple of nice songs, but it's just too simple and too generic. I unfortunately have to put it as not the best. It's not bad. I mean, it has like one nice little remix of a song that we already knew existed. So yeah, it's a little tough. It's a little tough to kind of put it anywhere else, you know? It just, as much as I enjoy the one or two tracks in it, they're really short. On top of that, it just doesn't compare to like all the songs that they include in New Link and all the songs that they have for Ninja Flash. So yeah, if there's any compliment that I can give to Ninja Flash is that the soundtrack is good, which, you know, the same compliment I can give to Shinobi Masters is that the anime sucked, but the music is fucking amazing. And then there's Peach Ball. So Peach Ball is the pinball spinoff for Senran Kagura. The game itself was not really good at all. One of the biggest disappointments in the entire series. And the soundtrack really wasn't anything to write home about either. It was kind of generic. It just had exactly what you would expect. And because there was so little content in the game, there's very little music in the game as well. And what I could find, which was very little, was also very, like, very whatever, you know? The OST Victory theme, ripped off of the Switch, I think, directly. It has, like, a nice, you know, I remember the opening theme song having, like, a nice little jazzy kind of sound to it. But again, it was kind of whatever, nothing really complicated. And then this is also just a Victory theme, you know? It's got some trumpets in there, wanting to be like Marvel vs. Capcom or something, you know? You know, it's got some okay stuff in it, but it's fun. But I don't know. I don't remember a whole lot about it, and I've been trying to track down the Peach Ball soundtrack for a while, and I just haven't been able to find a whole lot. You see, this isn't bad. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's pretty much in line with the atmosphere of Senran Kagura. It's just kind of whatever, you know? And then this one. What is this? I remember finding this, like, super long playlist on YouTube of the entire Peach Ball soundtrack. And there was a ton of songs. There were way more than what I could find here. Maybe they got deleted or something. But, like, I remember the soundtrack not being that bad, but also being very unremarkable. Like, I wouldn't say it's better than Ninja Flash, you know, or any of the songs in New Link or something, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I do want to cut it some slack, but at the same time, yeah, no, it's not really the best. And if I remember correctly, like, a lot of the music, I think, in the story mode was also just kind of recycled, not really anything new. I don't know. Yeah, the entire game as a whole is a very much, like, not good kind of affair, and the soundtrack just doesn't pull its weight, doesn't necessarily rescue the game either. And then we also have the music for Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. This is another spin-off. with this is actually like a really cool game for music, because this is kind of like my happy place whenever I'm feeling a little down and I want to play a game that just makes me happy, or play a game with music that kind of cheers me up and makes me happy. Peach Peach Splash is actually pretty good. I would actually put it right down the middle in between all of them. I'd say it's just a tad better than all of these other spin-offs, but I don't say it holds the candle to the mainline games at all. But it is fun. It's a fun game to play, it's a fun game to look at. And all of the music is really enjoyable, especially with this playlist that has like 15-minute extended versions of them. And this is just like a really... Again, it's kind of like Estival Versus 2 in that sense, where like you're going back to a beach, everyone's wearing swimsuits, and it's kind of lighthearted for the most part, with some semi-serious story going in there. But mostly just relationship stuff, you know, just worrying about the future and whatnot. But it's nice. Here's the theme song. Yeah, it's a summer kind of song. You see, but all of the gold lies in all of the songs that you hear and all the different levels and stuff. It's just really like happy, nice, you know, kind of tropical music. Oh yeah, this one's great. I love this one. Like 3, 2, 1, PBS live on stage. This one. The marimba or whatever. Yeah, I like hearing this. It's like happy place music. Time for a battle to the death with water guns. Yeah, and PBS in general is just a really funny game as well. There's a ton of comedy throughout the whole thing. It's just fun beach music, you know? Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah. And this one? Yeah, I'm trying to relax in the spa. Bum 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 bum. Really bouncy. So again, it's a comedy spinoff, you know, a lot of this is like, you know, super lighthearted. You're not really gonna find a lot of like really serious songs here at all. Ultimate Bon Appetit Land. Yeah, like all of the cooking stages for Bon Appetit, which are like just like recycled things from the other games. This one does feel a little bit more action-y. More like typical Senran, you know? Soaking Wet Academy, Hanzo Academy. Yeah, this one slaps. This one's pretty good. Water gun at an estate, like in Hanzo dorms or something. Yeah, da 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 da. Reminds me of Ayame's theme. Ayame's shop. Yeah, it's a little song. It has the love and care of a legitimate Senran Kagura, you know, game, right? It feels like a soundtrack. It doesn't feel like the other games where they kind of just add like maybe like 10 tracks and that's kind of it. But yeah, that's pretty good. The last one, it's a soundtrack that I haven't really listened to a lot. I kind of wanted to listen to it live. And that was the soundtrack for the latest Senran Kagura game. Well, it's more a Neptunia game with Senran Kagura stuff in it. But it's the Senran Ninja Tyson Neptune game, or Neptune X Senran Kagura Ninja Wars game that's going to be coming out pretty soon. It's already out in Japan, and apparently the game kind of sucks. But let's see if the soundtrack actually, you know, does something good. So there's no playlist for this, but I did find the channel that uploads it. And so, like, it's literally just a constant, just nothing but tracks for a lot of it. So hopefully he or she compiles it onto some sort of playlist or something to be able to listen to it better. But let's just listen to a bunch of these and see what it sounds like. So, again, this is all just background music for a Neptune and Senran collab. And right now, it's just sounding kind of whatever. And so, yeah, I'm not really sure how much of this is for the dialogue scenes, how much is for the action. I mean, so far, production-wise, it doesn't sound bad. And yeah, and so this one is kind of like the main opening theme, I think. You see, this one does sound cool. Action-y. You hear the song a lot in the trailers and stuff. Yeah. This is like the song that you hear in the trailers. Yeah, it's fine. Very Japanesey sounding. So again, yeah, sounding very like Koihimembu. Sounding very Ikitosen. This sounds like jokey, like there's a comedy scene going on. Neptune is being all weird. Yeah, this seems like fun, uplifting kind of music. You're in a room enjoying something. So of course, this is from a new game. It's a new spin-off. I technically haven't played it yet, and you can consider this like my first impressions for the soundtrack. No definitive answers right now, but I did listen to a pretty good chunk of it. And it's okay. I mean, it's definitely not terrible by any means. I wouldn't put it, you know, with Reflections or Peach Ball at all. But it's definitely not as uplifting or as fun as PBS. But it's all right. It does its job nice, and you know, when you listen to it on its own, it's got some stuff going on. It's kind of whatever, you know. It's kind of like New Link. Doesn't really do anything, you know, super crazy, but what's there is fine. Let's recap it from the bottom all the way to the top. We have not the best, where like even those soundtracks are not even the worst thing in the world. They just don't live up to any of the other ones at the top, which is Senran Kagura Bon Appetit. There are 6 songs out of like 30-something that are good in there, so it's just a numbers game. There's more bad than good in there. Reflections has like 1 good remix of 1 song, and that's kind of it. The rest of it is just really nice, you know, background music that you can probably hear in other places. And then Peach Ball, which is so forgettable that I don't even know. And then you got Good, you know, so some pretty decent stuff in here. I think the Senran Kagura soundtrack for Ninja Flash is some pretty solid work. It's not extraordinarily good, but, you know, I definitely didn't give it as much credit as it deserved, in my opinion. And New Link has some pretty good music. That one is very difficult to gauge because there's, like, obviously events and special character themes that kind of come and go because of timed events. And the music that's actually in the game is like a handful of tracks that you hear ad nauseum forever, right? So it's just weird to properly judge it. But what's there, it's fine, right? There's no bad tracks in there. But there's a lot of stuff that kind of comes and goes, and so it's difficult to listen to. And there's no official soundtrack for New Link just yet, so yeah. And then we also have the Neptunia Senran Kagura Ninja War crossover game, which, you know, pretty much the vast majority, if not the entire soundtrack, is on YouTube uploaded already. And, you know, it's all right. I've heard it, and it's not terrible by any means, but it just seems like, you know, it's a Neptunia game that takes place in, like, medieval Japan, ninja era kind of stuff, fused with some Senran Kagura stuff. It doesn't have that Senran edge, obviously, because they're more like guest characters, and they're not really in the forefront. So, you know, it just kind of, you know, makes some sacrifices here and there to make it sound a little different. It sounds like what it wants to be, right? And so it ends up coming across a little bit generic and not that authentic, not that unique as Senran Kagura does, with its fusion of all of its, you know, different aspects of traditional Japanese instruments with hard rock, but then depending on the character theme, it might be Spanish music or classical composers, stuff like that. And then you have Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash right here, exactly down the middle, and the pretty good one, right? Where like it doesn't have the volume and the scale and the full force of like the big mainline releases here at the top, but it's also not crappy, right? Like it still has the same amount of love and attention as a mainline game, right? You know, it has music for the shop, music for dressing room, music for story stuff, music for the stages, right? And they're all really nice, kind of happy, catchy songs that you want to play on loop, right? Like in that playlist that had like extended versions of them, right? You know, the PBS soundtrack, it's definitely like my happy place when it comes to Senran, right? Whenever I want something that's nice, bright, and happy, I'll just play like a couple runs of Peach Ball and I'll feel better. And then, here we got the big boys, you know? Right here at the top in the last 2 rows at the top. It's a bop. And so we have the original Senran Kagura Burst and Senran Kagura Burst Renewal. I included both in here because both soundtracks are pretty much the same. But with Burst Renewal, I am adding the new, like, remixed boss battle themes for the Heavy Joe girls, and of course the Yumi songs and the Miyabi songs. There's a little, like, 1 or 2 handfuls of new songs that show up in Burst Renewal, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is exactly the same as the original 3DS game, and that soundtrack is pretty great in and of itself, right? It's practically untouched from the original 3DS release, and it's still amazing. And then another one coming in clutch in a very big surprise appearance is the Shinovi Masters Senran Kagura anime soundtrack. All of it is uploaded on YouTube. You can listen to the whole thing. I couldn't show any of it because of copyright issues, but it's actually really good. I've completely forgot how good this soundtrack was. I guess in watching the anime, I didn't really pay attention to it, but it's great. I really really liked it. And again, as I said before, the one thing keeping it from the S tier from the very very top is that it just doesn't have that unique Senran Kagura edge that I really love from the other ones at the top, right? So getting to those, to the it slaps kind of category, we have Shinovi Versus with its incredible like scale and very dramatic sounding music. The Hanzo theme songs are fantastic, especially Yagyu and Katsuragi's theme song. We have New Heavy Joe with all of their amazing super hardcore metal kind of songs. We have these really creative and awesome songs from Gessen, where you have the classical composers fused in with some rock and all that stuff. I love Shiki's theme song. Yumi's one is great. And so, yeah, I highly enjoy all of those. And then Estival Versus, where they take all of that and they just crank it up to 11 to make it sound even better. Heavy Joe is a blast to listen to. Freaking Crimson Squad is amazing, and the new characters with Hanabi and the Mikagura sisters and Renka's the song is really great. And then there's a bunch of songs for the levels themselves, and those are pretty good. Then, of course, topping it off with Senran Kagura 2, Deep Crimson, the best game in the whole series, and of course, it has one of the best soundtracks. I would still say that out of these three, Shinovi Versus still probably reigns supreme from all those three. But, Senran Kagura 2 has an absolutely amazing soundtrack. Every single character theme is great. Some of them are a little weird and different, but you got Kagura's theme song, Naruko's theme song. A lot of the songs for the stages are super duper awesome. I think out of all of the games here, most of them have songs for the stages, and those don't necessarily flourish in the same way that the character themes do, right? But in Senran Kagura 2, that's a very rare occasion where even the stages, right? Even the songs for the Yoma generals and the bosses and the levels that you're in also have really amazing songs too. And then the one and only male character in the whole franchise, frickin' Murasame, also has his own theme song, and that one is also pretty good, better than Ikaraga's theme song. So, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I've been recording this for 3 hours. Hopefully, I can bring this down to like 30 minutes or something. But yeah, that in a nutshell is my Senran Kagura soundtrack tier list. This was really fun to do, mostly because I get to sit down and just listen to a ton of music. But yeah, that unfortunately, there's a lot of music that I really like from all of these games, so unfortunately, I just went too long just worshiping every single track. Seriously, like, I could do a whole ass, like, video, just, we could do a whole listening party, essentially, like a big 5-hour stream of just one of these games, let alone checking out all of them. So, but yeah, I do highly recommend that you check out all of these soundtracks. I think the more special ones that I think is really going to open people's eyes to how good Senran Kagura music actually is would be this one, the Ninja Flash music, the Shinobi Masters one, and then really, really paying attention to the Shinovi Versus one, and try to like really look at the storytelling that goes into the music. And then just, take like one character, let's say take like Hikage or something, or Hibari, and just look at that one character and listen to their theme song for every game, right? Look at, Homura's theme from Burst, and then go to Shinovi Versus, and then go to, friggin' Estival Versus, and then Senran Kagura 2, and then see how all of those songs kind of evolve over time and how they all sort of tell a different aspect of the story, a different aspect of the character. It's great. I really, really love it. I think that's an awesome thing to see. I think the soundtrack, I think Senran Kagura in general is pretty underrated, but I think the soundtrack is even more underrated because even within the fan base, there aren't really that many people that really talk about it. But there you go. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Feel free to actually, I might even put a link to this tier list in the description down below so that you guys can access it and you guys can make your own little tier list, and then you guys can tell me what your favorite soundtrack is. I'm going to spend all night just editing this video down and put it out tomorrow. So, yeah, thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with, whatever I want. Obviously, if you want more Senran Kagura related stuff, I've been more than happy to do that. I've been thinking of doing some stuff, but, yeah, it'll be a matter of time. All right, thanks, everybody. See ya. Bye-bye.